Hello everyone, welcome back to FraudFi. My name is Austin Lee and today I'm going to be talking to you about AI and how we can actually use it to stop fraud. So you may be asking yourself, why is this person talking to me about AI and how does he know and what does he know about fighting fraud? So previously I've been at various banking institutions. I have actually implemented AI and used proofs of concepts to showcase on how AI can actually be used and utilized to stop fraud rings at scale. So I'm not talking about your small charge card incident where somebody steals your card and charges it at Target. This is what I'm talking about is large, complex fraud rings. In my mind, the importance of using AI, you can basically play whack-a-mole and try to stop every single instance of fraud within your institution or within your company. Or you can sit back and understand the gaps by looking at those complex relationships where you use AI to develop and create simplified insights so you can capture all that fraud together that's existing or understand where you need to improve in your systems or strategies to ultimately stop fraud. So today, I'm going to be bringing 3 different use cases. And one of them is actually how I see fraud prevention becoming better using AI. So the first thing I'm going to be talking to you about is graph analytics. Graph AI analytics, whatever you want to call it, basically what it does is it visualizes or creates relationships between different parties, different customers, based on attributes of their data. So you may have one person that's connected to another through an address. Now, this could be a family member or it might not be. But when we start to map out all of our existing customers, we start to see some of these relationships are suspicious. And that's where we can further investigate. So basically using AI, we can prioritize the riskiness based on previous fraudulent activity based on customer to customer. And what populates is a fraud ring that can be investigated by an investigator to further ensure that that's what's actually going on, then be sent to law enforcement and basically be stopped. So that's one use case, is graph AI. I won't be diving into that, but if you want to know more, please mention something in the comments and I'm happy to do a longer video on graph AI and how it can be implemented, how it can be used. The second thing is more about risk scores. Now, risk scores aren't new. They're actually pretty old. A lot of different institutions use risk scores based on different attributes of information. Now, the nice thing about risk scores is they make all that information, they put it into one score. So it makes it real easy to determine what's going on. Now, the cool thing would be, and the great thing would be for your institution is having multiple risk scores. So based on different types of fraud, whether it's account takeover, whether it's check fraud or wire fraud or different transaction fraud or skimming, you can start to see those risk scores based on that type of fraud. And then having a model, an AI model that basically analyzes those different bits and tells if it's fraud. Now the third piece, and this is what I get really excited about for AI and how it can be used. So for artificial intelligence, AI, we need to train the data. You have to learn. You have to basically teach the model what's wrong. Now, fraud is something that's always evolving. It's always changing. So the great thing is, if you tie your investigator, connecting it to the graph analytics that it sees, and the investigator can identify and prioritize bad fraud rings, suspicious activity, and see it visually easily, and having those risk scores to help indicate how suspicious that activity is, then the investigator can start to classify those different accounts, those different profiles, those different transactions. And when it classifies that information, says something's bad or it's fraudulent, then the model learns from that activity. It determines that this was account takeover. Now I need to weight my variables for my risk score. Now I understand how it works. So then you're basically creating a model on top of models that is directed and led by the fraud investigator, basically chosen, teaching the model to adapt to new fraud. So I think that's the cool thing. If AI starts learning from fraud investigators and basically becomes its companion, then people and institutions can stop fraud more quickly, because now it's not just one person that has learned how to stop this particular fraud or can identify it. It's multiple people, because now you have this AI companion that's able to share that across individuals. So thank you so much. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, especially if you have something that's around AI and how it can be used for fraud. Feel free to share a comment. I'm happy to take some inspiration and dive into those different videos. All right, have a great night.